It is the year 2077 of the Reclamation Era, and humanity finds itself, once again, at the precipice of calamitous destruction. In this horrible time frame, in this future beyond our own worst nightmares, we find ourselves still riven with endless conflict, continue to fight for reasons that behold us to nation, to family, to friend, or to simple survival. Each of us fights, none of us survive. Follow me, and more importantly, follow 5 industrious souls, 5 pilots, 5 soldiers, 5 ghosts, on the quest to become human, or something more. Good morning, afternoon, and or evening, all those ladies and gentlemen, and all those in between and beyond the binary of the internet, and welcome back to tonight's Roleplay. More specifically, welcome back to Stardust Ghosts. I am your host for the duration of stream, Young Foxy, and I have with me 5, thankfully a full cast again, incredible, lovely players ready to bring their all, and hopefully not have their feelings pulled out by me. We're gonna try at least. Before we get to that though, we're gonna let them tell you who they are, who they're playing, and where they can be found on the internet. I don't have a question for today, so let's just go and get right into the meat of things. We're gonna start off on the far... See, I know where people are kind of sort of a little bit here, so we're gonna start off on the other side of your screen from me, right over there across the caption window over there with the incredible, the incomparable, and the explosive, Akemi, aka Ninja Penguin A.
Hey, that's me! I'm Akemi. Today I play Mika. Her. Akemi, she, they. Mika likes blowing things up. But we'll see that happens. Oh, you can find me everywhere at the internet, or I exist at Ninja Penguin AM.
You know, I'm hoping not too many things get blown up today, as I was saying in the pre-call, but y'all were saying some worrying stuff around that. So you know what? I'm just not gonna hold my hopes up and just we're gonna see how that goes when it goes. Honestly, my concerns aside, we'll go down to directly below Akemi to another member of our cast who's joining us from their vacation time, and happy to have them back at the table. I'm of course talking about the internet sensation, the lovable phenomenon of the World Wide Web themselves, Chaotic Darby. Hi, friend.
Hi, hello. My name is Darby, otherwise known as Chaotic Darby on the internet. I do stuff and things, and now I'm back here. I'll be playing Roxanne. You know, totally normal, super chill. Not a murderer at all. Out of curiosity, Foxy, how many times can you blow up a theoretical child?
If you do it right once, is the answer I don't want to give, but like, once would be the times you could theoretically do that, assuming.
Babies. Anyways.
I have so many concerns. Nope, we're not gonna do it right now. Moving on. Stepping directly across the bottom of your screen and off and over towards the left, we are moving over towards another lovely member of this table who has joined our lovely community through this great game. I'm of course talking about the incomparable and incredible Casper, the NB Ghost.
Lucio, I'm Casper the NB Ghost, and my pronouns are they, them. Tonight I am playing Jocasta Kubaka, aka Doc, who is entering her villain era. So that's gonna be fine. Everything's fine. I didn't mention the blowing up of the kids though, so at least I have that going
I'm still
for me.
concerned for some reason. It's gonna be an episode, friends.
There's still time.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
God. All right. Yeah. No, this is gonna get me on a watch list. Anyway, moving across the bottom of the screen there to another member who can't say joined our community for this game, because if you've been around the Alliance Roleplay long enough, you definitely know this person already and know the wonderful work they do us. But of course, allow me the pleasure and the thanks to introduce my very best friend in the world, the incomparable Michelle.
Hello, it's me, Michelle. I exist. I also do not exist on the internet though, so don't go looking for me anywhere. Otherwise, I'm playing Arthwiver's Tatsunori, our semi-alive, alive person.
I didn't do it this time. I didn't do it this time.
But you were thinking it.
I was thinking.
Alright, chat, press X to doubt.
That's not fair. See how they bully me?
Oh.
I just provide story for them and they bully me. But in any case, outside of that, before I get bullied more, we're gonna have one last cast member to introduce. And of course, if you know this person, you know they are they are so very far away from the bottom of our cast list here, as their story is one of personhood, of self-discovery, and of humanity at the end of it all. I am of course talking about the incredible and incomparable Danny, also known as Animated Pizza, also known as Danny's Corner, also known as the greatest role player to have stepped foot on the channel in a very long time.
I'm sitting right here.
You're all on that list too. Obviously, you're in the game.
Yeah. Take that,
That's
nerds.
right.
Fine, I will take this compliment.
Don't like it. Hi, I'm Danny Victoria's Corner at Animated Pizza on Twitter. Today I'll be playing Streamline or Ketty. Pronouns she, they. I think pronouns are also she, they. I know that one a little bit more for sure. And yeah, you know, I have concerns on multiple fronts. Will I voice them? Who knows?
I'm just glad someone besides me is concerned, honestly, given the state of this party right now. But you know what? We'll deal with that this episode right now, actually. Speaking of which, if you don't know who I am by now, friends, I'm Young Foxy, Big Foxy, your favorite Fox Philly's finest. It's not super important right now. I play everyone that's not these 5 wonderful people, including their former commander, who's definitely having some thoughts about his squad's choices right now. But we'll get to that. Don't you worry. Any case, before we get there, let's make sure everyone knows the stakes. And you know, to refresh us, last session found our party continuing their travel along the road. It was a mostly somber session, a bit of space to calm themselves, travel, and relax after the calamity of their escape from Montea. With time to reflect, lick wounds, and think over things, they found themselves plotting a course forward, realizing that, well, there are many things brewing: an invasion, a further development of the Type 22 Mark III, and well, if the schemes of Dr. Asano and Asan Cardelia are to be revealed, a turning point in this war is soon to come. There may be those who hold doubt, but what cannot be doubted is that something monumental will soon occur. And it appears as if Seraph Squad is the only thing standing between this world and something it's certainly not yet ready for. Before they get there, though, they have some personal matters to attend to. As through information gathered, the squad came across, let's say, a bit of a linchpin for our erstwhile witch, and have decided that they would like to investigate that linchpin so as to maybe, let's say, keep the wolves off their heels for a while. But before we get there, of course, let's take a bit of a step back, as last session went in a bit of a peculiar way. You all were, for the most part, traveling in one, in one collected gathering as one group. You all stayed in one van, sleeping on the floor and chatting with each other and sharing compliments and conversations, having some very soft and somber moments, with the exception of one of your squad mates, who decided that it would be best to keep tabs on the commander. So I will set scene best, and then we'll just go ahead and step right in and see how we can, let's say, catch up on those two real quick. Roxanne, the van that, or I guess it's hard to call it a van, given that everything else that the party's being traveling around in are vans for the most part. Lots of up-armored civilian vehicles that can sit maybe 5-6 people in the back without too much trouble. The other vehicle that the group is traveling with for the most part is well, it's like you want to maybe call it a school bus by modern comparison, a large sort of bus-like transport that's had a lot of its seating ripped out and replaced with computer panels and medical equipment, partially to help,
van life.
Yeah, exactly. Hashtag van life. Hashtag, when your friends in high school were like, yo, dude, if we all just bought a school bus and like took all the seats out and like we could just like live in there. Imagine if someone did that, but rather than like thinking like live in there, they were like, we could make a hospital bed / command center in here. I don't know why you have that friend. Don't talk to them anymore, but that's where we're at right now. There's a large sort of like makeshift hospital bed, which Tamir is being sort of made to lay in. It faces most of the consoles and readouts he's working on, so he doesn't have to get out of bed to work too hard. He insists on sitting up constantly, despite you can recall him being ordered to get as much rest as possible. And unless you say otherwise, he's going to spend as much time as he can just looking over data, gathering things. So I guess my question to you right now is, where are you within this vehicle of some kind? what are you up to right now? And given that it's probably a really palatable silence right now, who do you think breaks it?
She sure as fuck is not breaking that. I filched some books from somewhere a while back. I
Sure
guess I'll
did.
be reading those. Not his diary in particular. To note, that's still in my bag though.
Fair.
All of his shit's in my bag. I think I just took the entire safe.
You did. I mean, it makes sense. It's a fucking hospital bag. They have all this stuff in it. You just kind of grabbed it, shoved it in your bag, and ran out.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
I
So-
should now.
So you find yourself, the books you managed to pilfer from your time with the fleet. One was, again, just like a history of the PRV and the Cardelia family, which you remember reading through already. The other two you find, one is a really boring manual on field tactic, the kind of thing they expect you to read standard issue when you're in the academy, but, you know, no one ever bothers to read because reading. The other is, it's, interestingly enough, it's, well, how to explain this? Religion is a weird thing in this world. People don't worship in the way they used to. Gods, deities, those are all dead concepts. But faith persists beyond human conception. Faith survives even the apocalypse. So that third book is a book of stories. It's a book of tales of wondrous heroes, myths, and legends, and times that darkness shrouded over the land and heroes of light and legend arose to combat it. It's fanciful stuff, but in times like these, and especially in places like where you came from, you know that people cling to these stories as gospel. They hold them as the only thing they need to keep moving. And whether or not that book's interesting to you is up to you, obviously, but you find yourself sitting and looking through those things and perhaps wanting to consider, you know, where you'd like to go, or sort of like sitting in that silence for a while. And I guess if you've made it clear that he has to be the one to break silence, I think after a very long while, he sort of clicks his teeth while looking at several readouts, one of which is very clearly like a map of the area around, showing some troop deployments and some movements. He clicks his teeth really hard and just, I'm not getting more than that right now with what I have currently. That's unfortunate. And he looks over at you and just, have you heard from the squad recently?
Have I heard from the squad recently?
That's up to you.
I think she always just has the chatter on passively if they're talking, but as I'm warned to do, muted, lurking, just minding my own business, but listening in. Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
I only send reactions in the group chat or emojis.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing of note.
I would hope they're getting some rest, given the endeavor you all just went through.
I think Doc is having a lot of fun looking through some files.
I'll need her expertise later, certainly. Actually, thank you for reminding me of that. But before I get there, I should do the thing I should do the obvious thing. Which is admonish you all for the, frankly, reckless, nonsensically poorly planned, and endlessly irresponsible thing you executed to get me out of there.
Yes, I feel so admonished. Are you going to court-martial me?
No, I suppose I'll be thanking you, actually.
Hmm.
I don't think I have the authority to court-martial anyone now that I'm thinking about it.
I don't know. They seem pretty invested in keeping you alive.
Lots of people do these days. And he'll just kind of furrow his brow a bit. Can I be honest?
I don't see anything stopping you.
I don't think I know anything about you, Roxanne.
Does Roxanne know that he saw brain? Give me a second. Reorient faces really quick. find that very hard to believe. I think you've seen a lot more of me than anyone else has ever seen.
Well, of course, as your former commander, I've seen the entirety of your military record. Every court-martial or commendation you've been given.
You know,
Any
that's not
mission
what I
you've gone
mean.
on. I know. Do you expect me to be able to make sense of any of that?
You're smart. You saw my records. And I'm sure you're not deaf to the things that people say about me.
That's not what I mean.
Then what is it?
You're a murderer, Roxanne. Your record, the memories I saw, paint a picture of a cold-blooded, violent sociopath. Someone unwilling to put any single person before themselves if it means getting a mission done, another commendation, or getting one more promotion. Your path to this moment is filled with the bodies of people who deserved so much better.
Yes.
And yet, every time I close my eyes, I see you standing over me while a hole was in my chest, trying your damnedest to keep me alive. Knowing that doing so could have gotten you caught, and if you were seen next to the High Prince with a bullet hole in him, they wouldn't have given you a trial. You'd be dead before I was. So tell me, how do I reconcile those two things?
That's up to you. If I had been caught, if I had been found, if you had died. These are a lot of ifs. I make calculations. And now here we are. You're alive. I'm not dead. And you're out of the grasps of your father. And out of Asano's prying hands. Everything's a calculation. Everything is a risk that needs to be taken. Everything is just a step forward. Everyone behaves this way. Some people are just better at lying to themselves about it. Look at our squadron. You know our records. We're all murderers. Whether they killed agents of the enemy or agents of our own army. We all have blood on our hands. I just happen to use it to step forward, so I don't have to be in this situation anymore.
But it's not the blood that bothers you, is it? You can wade through that. It's the names. Tempest, Aileron, Tortuga, Valheim, Valkyrie, and he just lists names and names and names, and each one of them is someone you remember, someone you can put a face to.
Their names don't bother me.
He doesn't look, he looks like he has several things he wants to say in this moment, but like is desperately trying to bite back his own tongue.
Why hold back? You know exactly who I am, what I'm capable of. Say
And he
it.
says, I do. And I know that if given the opportunity, given the information you were told just after watching me be shot, you could have turned in the squad, reported back to my father or Asano, and been heralded as a hero. Promotion, wealth, status, You could have escaped the military if you really wanted to. You're here, though. Still. Here. Why?
I'm not one to fold a hand of cards before I see what comes down the river.
You're right. Some of us are better at lying to ourselves. He leans back and just... There is one other thing that's bothering me.
Shoot.
From what I understand from the chatter I can pick up on the rebellion, the plan is to make for Redsham. However, I get the sense, given our current trajectory, that there's another operational stop we have to make. I've tried to inquire about it, but no one seems to give me any straight answers. And whenever I can't get straight answers, that usually means one of you knows something you shouldn't. Care to enlighten me?
Sure. We're going to kidnap a child. Witch's child, in fact. Asano has her little dog. Let's take away the leash.
You intend to use a woman's child for leverage to ensure she won't kill us.
Among other things. I also know that it'll make her very angry.
With good reason.
Children die every day. Being attached to them doesn't make it matter any more or less. Moves and counter moves. That's what this is going to be. Tamir. Commander. King. Are you ready to do what's necessary? Because your father is.
I will do what is necessary to ensure the people I care for and the people under my charge are safe and free. I cannot turn back from that path now.
Good. I have a feeling Doc would rather do something untoward towards a child, and I feel that you knowing about that would make you rather upset. You need to be lying down, so ideally, I'd rather pass off childcare to you.
You can see him flash through several things in his head. Like the emotion on his face is really unreadable for a bit. It's like confusion and like pain and like sorrow, and there's maybe a bit of a blush there too for a half second. You're not sure.
Mm-hmm.
And just, I suppose that logical. You do have one thing wrong. I'm not your commander. This plan, if it's the plan you all agree with, is one you carry forward without any direction or need for approval from me. I will follow you all because I trust you all. Whether I like the plan we engage in is for me.
You trust a murderer?
I have seen two sides of you. I trust one of them. The other is a monster. I am waiting to see which is real.
I think you'll be disappointed then. I'll take my leave. She'll snap her book closed and then, I think pull the stuff out of her bag and just place it just out of his reach. Take a curt bow and then leave.
When you're leaving, are you heading immediately back to where your squad is, or are you like hanging around outside the van for a little bit?
I might just crawl on top of the van, to be honest.
Very valid. In that case, could you... Do I need to roll for this? Nah. So, obviously... No, go.
I had a new thought.
Go. I like new thoughts.
Who's in charge of this, like, whole caravan thing? I'm gonna crawl into their van.
There's the lead van at front, which is basically being driven by. It doesn't seem like there's any direct like overall command of this operation. It does seem like there's one who kind of like directs things, coordinates things, and that would be Shadi, who is riding in the van that the rest of your squad is in. So you could join them. The problem is that the other seat, that like his front seat, is occupied. So you can technically like just like go in and sit there. Although someone might look at you sideways for just blatantly taking their spot.
Yeah, why not?
Cool. In that case,
Fucking we ball.
Yeah, I agree with that. In that case, don't worry about the thing I was about to say. It's not important. But we will have the camera follow Roxanne as she makes her way and saunters, I believe was the term we tend to use here, away from one van over to another. Opens the door and sees the squad, who is already stepping out to discuss a few things and finishing up. Actually, you're just now seeing, as you're kind of like seeing the squad walk up, you're walking up to Mika kind of hopping up from a very, very turbulent rest. Keddy and Arth being still held in a very, very soft and somber embrace. And Joe kind of scribbling at some, looks like a plan of some kind. Hard to tell given all the technical mumbo jumbo around it, but the object that she sketched out in the middle is very clearly a mock-up of the pad you've seen Mika used to contact Lily. So you're certain it has something to do with that. You walk up, and, well, yeah, the rest of the squad would notice you there, and all be aware that the plan is still the plan. I'll leave you all on the scene to recuperate and discuss as you need to, but whenever you're ready, we'll go ahead and get on to, well, that.
Oh, when Caddy sees Roxanne, she'll give like a little wave. Hi, Roxanne.
Hello. Did you get some good rest?
I think so. Yes. Thank you. Did you get good rest? I have a lot on my mind. Did you get good rest?
You could say that. I had a lot of fun.
Oh.
Tamir. How is Tamir?
Oh, I'm sure he's fine.
Didn't
Probably thinking
rest
over
with
some
him?
things. Not really advisable to rest with someone who just got shot, don't you think?
I wouldn't know. Everyone I know who gets shot dies.
But you were around him, right? Is he like? I mean, is he feeling better?
As well as one can be. I'm sure he'd welcome the company if you wanted to say hi to him.
I do want to, but in a second. I think we have important plans to conduct first, or at least confirm. What
Also
plan?
pick up
are
a
we
package. We're going to pick up the package, and then we're going to reconvene with the rest of the fleet and save the world.
Oh, that's a really big, overarching description of the plan. Okay. Is anyone around us right now?
There's a couple of like resistance soldiers who are like moving around to like do some refueling and resupply stuff, and like people who are like stopping to eat some meals, but no one close enough that they can like get intimate details of your conversation. Like no one would be. If anyone wanted to eavesdrop, they have to be closer.
Okay, cool. Okay. So And Kenny sort of takes a moment to look around, and it looks like they're doing like a small calculation of if what like the proximity of people who are walking around them, if they can hear. And then they look back at everyone. It is not proper for me to confirm more, but I think I should anyway, just so I am getting my words across. We are going to use the package to get a package.
Darling, we're going to use the child to get new mechs. To get a powerful ally. Now that we have a whole kingdom against us.
2, technically, if you count the other side.
Yeah.
Okay, what is the process where this leads to allyship?
There's, from my experience, there's nothing a mother won't do for their child.
I've had very different experiences. I don't understand.
A lot of people
It's
normally are pretty
understandable.
attached to their children. And Witch has proven to be very attached to hers. Since that's what Asana's been using to tug her around, so to speak.
Okay. That is a smart plan that we are conducting.
You have concerns?
Any concerns of now is the only time to voice them.
I don't consider myself the best person. I don't consider myself. I'm learning to be a person, and I have very differing thoughts on what is and isn't okay. And I understand there's anything we do anything to complete the mission. That is what I know. I'm not sure how I feel about doing the same actions that Dr. Asano had taken to go forward with our goals. That's my concern.
How many children?
Yeah, Doc is error 404. There's no response to that. She's too stunned to speak.
The woman was too stunned to speak.
Just so proud of. Oh my god, Zima is proud.
How many children do you think, Zima, have died because of this war?
I believe it's an estimated over millions.
And how many people do you think would suffer under Asano's control? She continues to have her way.
Many.
It's not that we're doing the exact same thing that Asana is doing, because we can send Witch confirmation that her child is alive and well, which I'm sure is more than Asana has been doing. If we continue to let Asano have this tool in her arsenal, she'll continue to use Witch to do the things that exactly what she told us. Experimenting with lives, experimenting with minds, using people as objects for evolution.
My darling, you don't want what happened to you to happen to anyone else now, do you?
Well, that didn't feel right to hear you say.
I'm sorry, but that's the facts.
I don't. And I don't want Dr. Asano to hurt more people. I just don't see. We are in a position where we have allies, we have certain information on our side, which for the moment I can assume is not in proximity with Dr. Asano. I am simply wondering if it would not be much to simply show a showing of what we can do, which is to, I guess, my concern is simply in the way we approach it, rather than the act of giving her child back and how we proceed with that.
Doing her
Because-
favor, love. We're going to free her child from the grasps of a despicable woman, and thus free her. All in exchange for a few mechs, so we may defend ourselves.
But where is Witch gonna get the mechs?
A woman like that has connections.
A mother like that would be desperate.
Just
Besides, you all don't have to do anything, really. Some of us are more than happy to get our hands dirty, so to speak.
I know.
Feel comfortable on this mission, love. That's fine. You can stay back with the resistance and prep our return.
And prepare a safe passage for the child to go home.
Absolutely.
I want to be beside you all in anything. I care about you all very much. So I want to stay by your side. I apologize for the concerns.
For apologies.
Choice. Keri. You brought up something that I forgot. I made an oath to you, avenge those wronged and do what is right. I would follow you anywhere, but using a child as leech, is that right?
Love, we're at war.
Yes, we're at war, but we can still respect others, even if others can't respect us.
Can I speak to you alone for a second?
Of course.
So I'm gonna pull Arth away from the group and like turn off. We're gonna cone of silence this shit. And just only speak to Arth. So I understand where you're coming from. I really do. I also just found out that the woman responsible for taking my entire family away from me is the same woman whose son I'm going to be rescuing from the doctor who ordered it.
Joe.
I'm not going to harm the child. I just want to make sure which is no longer a threat to us.
Then can I ask you to let me just... I will help you avenge your family, but... The child. We can't use the child. You keep the child safe, but if we need to kill Witch or just get her out of the way. If you need me, kill Witch. Gladly.
I don't need you to kill anyone. I need you to trust me and follow me on this plan. Can you do that? Can you trust me?
Yes, my lady. It's Joe. Just want you to know. I'm scared for you.
When are you not, love? She's actually gonna put her hand on your face and, like, just hold that. I'm going to be fine.
I'm just scared that the lines that you drew in the sand that made you, that made me, scared you'll cross that line. But to whatever end, I'll follow you.
I'm not Roxanne, love.
Just gonna like lean into that hand a little bit.
Yeah. And at this point, I'm gonna give you the charm that's on my bracelet as just a further point that I'm like proving that I'm still Joe. Remember this. Hold on to it and think of it as a token. That it's just a reminder that I am still me. I'm still just Joe.
We'll remove the tassel from the blade and attach the charm to it, while also pulling off a bit like a necklace that's made. But I think actually, Joe, you might have actually known this. It's a flat piece of folded steel from the first forging of Arth's sword, and Arth will offer this in turn.
Yeah, I'm going to take it and use the chain that was my bracelet, which was just wrapped around over and over. It's actually a really long chain, so I'm going to just turn that into a necklace and have that like just hang around my neck. That's something I fiddle with. And then head back to the group. And just like, all right, so we're all on the same page.
No, but we're doing the same thing.
Fair enough.
No, Teddy is sort of just very uncomfortably like messing with her hair as if she's like, it looks like she's in thought at least. And then a beat passes after she says that. It says, I actually didn't mean to say that, I'm sorry.
You don't need to apologize, love. I get it. You're upset with me.
I'm not upset with you. At least I don't think so. I don't feel upset with you. I just don't feel right. And that's not like an abnormal thing. but I was starting to feel slightly right, and it's not a logical thing. I will make sense of it and come back to it.
Okay. You know, you can talk to me whenever about whatever.
Kitty doesn't respond.
It's right about then that you all start getting some nods and some hand waves from the rest of the resistance fighters, indicating that it's time to load back up and get moving again. Again, the soldier who Roxanne stole the seat of walks by and notices the seat stolen and just keeps it moving without saying too much of anything, because what's the point? And thus,
I steal something out of his pocket. Just anything.
Sure.
Just while he's walking by.
Yeah, it's got a wallet. It's got a picture of his family and a couple bucks in it.
Oh, picture of his family?
Yeah, he's got a sister and an aunt and a granddad, and that's it. That's all he's got. Point.
I'll drop the wallet on the ground. Take the photo. And I'm gonna tuck it somewhere reasonable for him to have lost it, but somewhere safe so he'll find it, or someone will. I just want him to panic a little bit.
Fair enough. He grabs the wallet and kind of doesn't really open it, just kind of keeps walking for now, but you wager at some point he's definitely going to open that and start freaking out because he can't find his favorite photo. Which you're able to tuck into the dashboard or somewhere annoying in the car where it clearly won't be easily found, but at some point in the next week you'll probably find it.
Mm-hmm.
With
I would
that,
like to do one more thing very quickly. Because I doubt Katie's gonna get a chance to do it after this moment. As we're all loading in, Katie will sort of hang back a bit. Actually, they're gonna grab Shadi.
yeah, he's loading up to drive, but he's not taking off yet, checking gear and stuff, and just, oh, hey, Getty, what's up?
Hi. I simply very quickly need your assistance with something. Yes.
Well, come on then, out with it.
And Katie takes out the dagger that Arth gave to them and says, I don't know how to cut my own hair. And I feel like something needs to change. So could you help me with it and make sure it looks I mean, I guess appearance doesn't really matter that much. I guess I would just...
He takes the knife between two of his fingers and spins it. Hell of a knife. And then sees you bumbling through all of your explanations and just laughs a little and kind of turns to kind of sit himself further back in his seat towards the side, which is a fair kind of space on the little, stool step where you step into the van and just, come on then.
So shuffles over and sits down.
And yeah, he'll brush some hair back and just, yeah, honestly, I liked your short hair back in the day. I don't remember a whole lot from before, well, things got weird, but I remember your face at least.
Oh, that's nice. And also surprising. I barely remembered my face, actually.
Well, it ain't the same face exactly, so,
Yeah, it's changed a lot. But I guess in a good way now. I think this is good.
Yeah, and as Kenny, you kind of blink a bit, you remember when you were young. It's weird because ever since you've pulled that bit of piece off of behind your ear last episode, you found your thoughts and memories all flow a lot more smoothly than they did previously. And you're remembering sitting outside under a tree, playing in the flowers with a young girl. And her face is definitely different, but something in the smile is incredibly familiar. And he smiles at you and just, well, yeah, I was Shadia back then.
Mm.
This just kind of feels a little more me, I guess.
You are you.
And you're you.
And I'm very happy to see you again.
Likewise. And kind of runs a hand through your hair a little bit.
Thank you for this.
He grabs your shoulders and kind of hefts you back up and then spins you around and just, something's on that mind of yours. So do me a favor. Remember that. You're you, right? You've always been the same you. Even if you change, you just become more you. So no matter what happens, no matter what the world does to make you something different, stay you. Yeah?
Yeah. I will remember that. Thank you.
Now load up. Should get on the road.
Of course, yes. And Kitty goes off, comes back,
Measure.
and hugs him a little bit,
Oh, yeah.
and then runs away.
He absolutely wraps you in the hug, firmly holds you tight a little bit, just, you'll be okay.
I believe that, yes.
And as you turn to head off, you just, and tell your pink-haired friend to snore less, please. I can literally hear her over the radio.
But that is her.
Got me there. He grumpily sits back down and just, I'm gonna buy some earplugs one of these days, I swear. Which, you all can sort of hear him grumble a bit as you all gather back towards the van and load back up. And, well, the rest of the ride is pretty smooth. You actually aren't that far out. From what you gather based on the map, Redsham is a pretty much straight coastal, or at least coast-following drive down from Montea. So you'd expect to be following the way, or the northern coastlines for most of your trip. But, of course, given that you guys know you have to go somewhere else, and, Doc, Jocasta, once you finally take some moments to pull through those coordinates and descramble them, you find that you have to kind of dip south from your, the moment you kind of enter, out of Vicatria proper and enter into, the Rend, you have to dip directly south further into more neutral territories, away from more occupied areas and, away from battle zones. It appears that the place you're headed to is a very, very small, off-the-front village. The kind of place where if this wasn't marked on your map, you wouldn't know any more than 15 people here. And as you slowly approach, you recognize that holds up really true. This is a ghost town. This isn't a bustling suburb or a thriving small place. This is a scrap-built remnant of a place that used to be. The buildings are made of rundown industrial conveyors and ship parts and components of things that, if you spend enough time, you could probably point them out individually, but they are roughshod, rough-made constructions of things that definitely clearly are made to hold multiple families or people, but there aren't that many people here. There are occasional small huts and sheds that you all could probably make out as shops or maybe marketplace stalls, but this late at night, especially with the rain coming down this hard, you aren't really able to see many people out and about in the shops areas here. A hooded passenger or a hooded person here or there might walk by or cross your caravan, but overall your cars are able to slowly peel through this village without really anyone bothering you. In fact, I'm assuming you're all at least keeping your eyes open for some kind of, surveillance or something, and you're noticing that there really isn't much. No one's really bothering to notice you all. It's almost as if the people who are here just don't really have much to care about, let alone to worry about when a few cars go moving through. All the same, you're able to pull to a small little lot aside another roughshod big building here. It's a little more sturdy than other ones around here, and it's sort of separated away from the flock, but it's still a sort of reconfigured old warehouse, conveyor segment that's been hollowed out and built up with some reinforced walls and plating here and a window cut here and there. It's a house, a makeshift house, and a small one at that, but a house. You almost wouldn't know this is anywhere near where you're supposed to head, were it not for the 4 armed guards you can see at either corner of the small little warehouse. This is definitely the place.
Beautiful. Those 4 armed guards are on the roof?
They are sort of out front, just at various kind of corners of the building. There's 2 in front of what looks to be maybe a door of some kind. Obviously, you kind of guarding the entrance. But around the corner, you can see there's one off to the side. one on the other side. They're clearly meant to kind of be like watching the four corners of this very small building here, but they're not on the they're ground level. But again, with
Alright.
the rain, with the fog this heavy and the rain this downpouring, you wager that you guys have parked far enough away that like they don't see you. Just get out of your cars. You know, you unless you walk up and go, "Yo, what's up?" They probably aren't going to see you until you get very close.
Do I know what the kid looks like?
No.
Was that in the files?
Nope.
Do we know how old this kid is?
If you gauge it out, it's tough to say because, well, it's actually funny you mentioned that. I'm glad someone finally asked this question. Actually, so remember how much you guys all got biographic information on Witch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Witch's lifespan makes no fucking sense. Like, you've all seen Witch. You've all seen how she looks. She doesn't look that much older than any of you. Maybe late 30s at the absolute oldest, given the white hair, but even that's more of like a stretch if you're really guessing that hard. However, one of you has records of Witch being in active military service long enough to have killed one of your parents. That doesn't make sense.
When did she go on maternity leave?
See, that's the thing you can manage to get a sense of.
Yeah.
Witch's maternity leave happened, well, I'd say a good decade and a half ago.
Decade and a half, huh?
So her kid's probably about 15, 16.
15, 16. Okay, thankfully younger than any of us, because I could feel.
Yeah, no, don't worry, I wouldn't do that to you.
That'd be really
Or
funny
would
though.
I?
That would be really funny. Anyways, we're looking for a teenager,
Right.
not a
yeah.
baby. Any 15 or 16-year-olds that look like Witch at all?
Well, again, it's a little hard to tell unless you want to start approaching the building and like looking in, you know, something like that. Outside,
Sneaky?
yeah, that's fair.
I'm a sneaky
Outside,
bitch.
no, there's no one outside except for the four guards. But if you want to slip over and look closer, you can see if maybe you can see someone inside if you'd like.
Yes, please.
That's gonna sound like it's probably either a physique or study role, but I would accept something more appropriate if you can find it. Like, I wouldn't hate recon in this instance, honestly.
Yeah, while
Yeah, I'll
that's
do recon.
happening. Yeah, while that's happening, I kind of want to go over to Mika and give her components for a explosive, and just Mika, love. At the right moment, I would like you to pick a building, preferably unoccupied, and blow it up.
Okay.
So here's a bomb for you.
Here, a bomb.
You think on that, and when I give you the signal, as long as it's unoccupied and it won't hurt anybody, I want you to blow up a building.
Okay.
Beautiful. And I do that on open comms so that everybody in the team hears me.
You will note a couple of things that, as you're checking into your comms, you'll all note this, and I want to know what the rest of you are doing as you're all. I'm assuming, is anybody else going with Facade to like recon and look at the area? So then I'll take either physique or study roll from you. You can also, if you want to, roll with recon, but you don't have that X, you'd be rolling as if you had a 5. So I would say probably don't do that.
Cool. Hey, Foxy, remind me how this system works.
You're looking for a D20 roll under. So if you're in case of you, Zima, your physique is 10, your study is 18. So you're going to pick one of those stats, and you're going to look to roll a D20 roll and look to roll under that number.
Under
If
that.
you roll
Okay.
equal to that number, you crit.
Okay. I'm gonna go for study.
Okay. I see a tongue out from Darby. That's a good sign.
It's an 8.
I got a
Oh.
9.
Both good numbers. So, as you two, as you guys, you all dispatch to get out under the pall of night and rain. You see that several resistance fighters kind of get up and begin to kind of like make a defensive perimeter, clearly indicating to you all like we're gonna hold this area here so that you all have an easy evac point in case shit goes sideways, because it often does around you all. But outside of that, so Ketty and Roxanne kind of take that sort of long sideway around. You're able to kind of slowly approach under the pallid night, and there's like a tree copse you can kind of move through that kind of lets you stay low and in some brush that kind of makes you able to get closer. You're not able to directly look in. It's a bit hard to get that close without like distracting the guards somehow, which we can deal with in a minute. But from where you're at, you're able to tell that this house has 3 rooms. There appears to be like a large sort of like living area of some kind where people probably just like sit and spend a lot of time, maybe eat or watch TV or whatever. They have TV in there. A kitchen, a very, very small, modest one, and then a bathroom of some kind. This is a very, very small home. This is not like, this is a shack by any other definition. That's the first thing you recognize. The second is that the guards do swap. Like there's a patrol pattern, as in they move and rotate positions every. It looks like, and I can tell from both of your good rolls, especially with Kenny, your like machine-like precision. With the two of you working together, you're able to tell that swap happens about every 7 to 8 minutes. It's not like they trade guards. Literally just like the guy who's here moves to here, the guy who's here moves to the around the corner, the guy around the corner moves to up here. It's just simple rotation every few minutes. For our non-reconning members, there's a few things you all notice as well, especially for our person manning the comm system. One, you'll notice that again the squad comms are working perfectly fine. Everyone's listening in, with the exception of what's now just goes by Seraph 0 or just Seraph. Tamir has deliberately muted his comms, which is not a thing you've ever noticed him do to you all before.
Muted but not deafened?
Don't know if he's, I think he's not deafened for the sake of like, if you had to guess, probably so that he could like,
Hear if we're in
let
trouble.
you all know if a bad thing happens, like, hey, be aware of this. But he definitely just does not want to hear you all talk about doing this. So that's the first thing. The second thing that you've noticed is, and this is, I'm gonna assume, only really immediately noticeable to Doc, who has their comm pad they're using to kind of track on things, but the rest of you would probably be aware of it by virtue of like the way you all communicate pretty easily. You have inbound. There's a vehicle inbound to that location. It's only one car, and doesn't look like it has any escorts. So Tamir's assumption that if someone showed up, they would be showing up with like mechs. They haven't brought any with them directly, at least. Whether they are any that are already here or on their way, you never know. But someone is on their way here. 3 guesses as to who.
I'm gonna let
W.
our boys know.
TCH.
I'm gonna let the boys know that we have M coming. And again, this is on open comm, so like the squad knows too. But I'm mostly talking to Shadi. It's like, Shadi, love, it seems we have incoming. One vehicle. Eyes up. Take care of that, will you? As best you can. No, only defensive.
Roger that.
Thank you.
Then he shuts off. You can see him wave some hands. You see a few of the other soldiers kind of move the position to kind of shift on like to a vector that tracks that like incoming trajectory. They're gonna keep their eyes up. They'll definitely let you know whatever happens, and you're all free to move and engage. What's the plan?
That's what I was gonna do over comms. Keddy, I know you and Roxanne are busy. Actually, this is for both of you. Are we killing these people? Are we just going to sneak in, grab the kid, and get out?
Sneak in, grab the kid, blow the house up so it looks like the kid died? Let them scramble over trying to save nobody in an empty house while we make our getaway?
But I only have one explosive.
Well, Mika, then you can blow up that house.
As long as it's empty, right?
As long as it's empty.
Okay.
I did make that promise.
Mm-hmm. Nobody will be alive in there.
Fantastic. I'm good as long as we get the kid.
Okay.
I'd like to. Can I send a message just to Tamir real quick?
Sure. I don't see why not.
See, Commander,
hands-free.
He still again
Doesn't have to answer. I don't care. I don't give a fuck.
To say to that.
All right,
I think...
on you.
Oh, sorry. Good.
Oh no, if you were gonna say something, because I was gonna say if that we've got a plan. Art.
I have an ability. I would like to try and use.
Ooh.
I have a thing. So I have insider info where I can gather information gently. It says gently for the people around me, but I'm not sure how this will work. But I'm essentially trying to see if Katie can like somehow put together information to figure out what the best way of like getting inside and out this place be, like essentially learning about the layout of this place and
Can I
stuff.
help with that with my eye for weak? I don't know if that's how it works, but eye for weakness, like combine our two like abilities to help each
We
other
combine
out.
forces?
That could be a thing. So this is a good time for me to remind you guys that there's a little resource you have in this game called teamwork points. Each of you has one by default. You can spend it to either A, act immediately whenever something happens to somebody else, or B, assist in an action using whatever means you can. Keep in mind, they are a used resource. When you use them, you don't get them back until you have the time to actually, rest and replenish, and otherwise you get them back. So,
That's
you just put them. So yes, you could absolutely pop your teamwork point here, Roxanne, if you'd like to also assist in combining your move with that, which I think these moves perfectly synergize in a way that makes sense. So if I'm reading these two moves correctly, I think what happens here is, and this, feel free to jump in here narratively however you want. I think what happens here is, Kenny, you are focused in, lensing in, looking at these guards, trying to get a sense of what happens here, and you start slowly hearing voices, words spill from their vicinity as you slowly begin to peer into their surface thoughts. You can tell that, well, one of them is just literally thinking about like when it's going to be break so they can actually literally swap shifts and go get some food because he hates being in the raid. His outfit is soaked and he's like probably getting sick. Another, her mind is focused on the argument she just had with her brother. It's about their favorite sport. They were having an argument over whether their team is going to go to the finals or not, and she cannot wait to get home and like yell at him when she finds out that they made it. The other is currently thinking about his mom. She's not been doing so well, and he really wants to get home and check on her sometime. And the last is keeping time. They are the one counting down the minutes, as you can get the idea that when this one makes a signal or moves, the rest then all follow that signal to then change the shift schedule. Which to you, Roxanne, as you notice that Ketty is not just like peering into the surface thoughts. At first you're like, oh, why are you saying these out loud? I don't need to know them out loud. Then you recognize she's not. While you're next to her, it's almost like a CB radio. Being close to her makes you also just able to kind of barely hear a few of those surface thoughts. And then you recognize, okay, if we can fuck with that one, the one keeping time, throw him off somehow, the rest probably lose their rhythm too. Or at least they all follow his lead. Yeah, you could. You could kill him. That's a thing you could do.
Have to find a body in the house, right?
Yeah?
Yeah, alright. I got a knife.
You do have a knife. I would assume your plan is to kill him stealthily.
So I guess I'll use my eye for weakness is peeking out this weak, lonely guy and just
So, I would
stuff
say,
him in a trash can or something. I don't know.
Yes. Okay. All right. Okay. So, here's what I'll say then. Here's what I'll say in terms of like my notion for after weakness. As Roxanne lets you all know that she could take out the kid of the keystone, the one keeping time, you all recognize several things. One, solid plan. Work pretty well, get you all in and out without too much trouble. You can buy yourselves a good 35, 45 seconds of issue, and assuming you can get in, grab the kid without any fighting and get back out, shouldn't be a problem. Two, Mika, you're more than certain you can plant that bomb somewhere that A, won't let the guards know where it is, and B, will most likely not easily come up in an investigation unless they use some real good forensics. The problem is...
No problems, only benefits. Why?
the problem would be, one, again, the plan is contingent on getting the kid out quickly without any issues, so you have to make sure that's a problem you deal with. Either incapacitate the kid or hope he agrees to come with you. And B, you're certain that, well, when this all goes down, once you kill that guard, if any of them has any time, they're probably going to let whoever's incoming know that there's an issue and to speed up the pace. So you wager... So what I'm saying is, this plan will work. It will work very well. However, the thing that's on its way will be on its way faster.
How much force does it take to knock out a teenager with, like, blunt force trauma?
In a TTRPG, for the sake of Twitch TOS,
In a TTRPG, yes, I Darby have weak noodle arms. I'm not knocking out anybody, unless it's in Super Smash Brothers.
Fair enough.
No
Honestly,
children are harmed in the making of this episode.
No actual children
it turns
harmed.
out it's actually not all that hard to knock out really any human with the right application of force to the right area. It's really not all that hard.
The hard
If you can
part's
drop on
not
the
damaging
kid-
them at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, you might commit mild concussion, maybe worse, but
Fine, I'm
You
a
know.
medic. We're good.
Well,
true.
I'm struck with another thought. Really quick, team huddle over the comms. I mean, would they know that we're on the fucking run? We only just started hauling ass, right? Like,
No one's been like I mentioned last episode. Oh, I tell you, you were here for last episode. Last episode, Tamir made it very clear that from what he could pick up on like residual Admiral comms, he hadn't been locked out from anything. No one outwardly suspects specifically U5 of what happened.
why don't we just roll up? why don't we just walk up and be like, hey, on orders from Dr. Asano, we've been sent to collect the kid.
If you have high
Yeah.
enough magnetism,
Right, I didn't fucking think about this! I'm a great fucking liar! Okay, alright.
Absolutely, yes. But we're still
All
gonna
right.
blow up the building because I did promise Mika.
Yeah, we can blow up the building afterward.
All right.
Yes.
When
absolutely,
the
we're
car
gonna blow
comes
up the
closer, we'll
building.
blow it up, and then we just fucking hightail it. They wouldn't know. Alright, Roxanne's gonna straighten, look very official. I don't know.
I think through actually it's more in your mind. I think.
Yeah.
He's like, am I? Would you like me to accompany you?
Yeah. Makes us look more official.
Oh, I have an idea. I have a thought. Wait a second. Before you move in,
Yeah.
Arth Love, would you mind accompanying them? Because you do hold a bit of weight.
of course.
Doc, any files you have on Witch also to help me smooth?
Yeah, I send those over. Like any file pertaining to the kid, anything that I can,
And
like,
yeah.
anything that's pertinent that would be convincing. That will help Facade convince them. Like, yeah, we're here for the kid. Dr. Asano okayed it.
Oh,
Shut the
fake
fuck up,
orders
don't
from
ask
Asano would be great if you could just make something.
Ooh,
You have her arm. Yeah, you have her arm.
Okay, so I
Master
think,
hacker.
I think for the sake of pushing this forward, here's what I'll say.
Uh-huh.
This will absolutely burn Jocasta Doc's teamwork point, since we've already had Roxanne's be burned.
Yeah.
I will need
Fantastic.
I'll need a magnetism roll from Roxanne, and I'll need probably a study roll from
Let's
Doc.
go.
Let's go
Yeah.
and make that happen real quick.
We'll make a magnetism roll.
I've never seen a plan suddenly come to reality so fast.
Yep.
It's like we all had a collective brain blast.
We're all. I don't know why I didn't fucking think of it sooner. I'm.
Hey, I don't want to say
So
it.
used
I
to
don't wanna
having to
say
murder
anything.
people.
Roxanne's very used to fucking killing people. Like,
I've
First,
got
ask
a
questions later.
What do we
Lady,
got?
my place is next
Yeah.
to you, but if you need to leave to escort them, and
Well, if you go with them, I believe you hold enough weight within the military. Plus, with these orders that I'm giving you, because I rolled a 12,
That's enough.
should be enough to expedite the process and without anyone dying.
yeah.
please stay safe.
Absolutely. I've got Mika.
I got a 4.
So, Roxanne, what's that magnetism roll? Oh, I love it when my players roll good things. Okay, so here's how this happens. Arth, you stroll up, sword at your side, noble presence at your bearing. You walk up with Roxanne and with Ketty, and the soldiers all turn to look at you. And while some of them, do raise guns because they don't expect anyone to approach, you approach and just, offer a salute and just, you give the explanation. We're on orders from Dr. Asano to take the child for transport. And just they so the commander, the one you can identify as the one who's keeping time, looks over and just, that's curious. We'd received word from the commander that she was already en route, but if it comes from the doctor. And yeah, he'll just step back, turn, face the door, and you all are allowed to step in. Inside, as you step into the main room, the main chamber and area here is, well, sparse bedding. There's one bed low to the ground off the one corner of this large area here. There's a table in the middle which has a couple of books and a little board of some kind with small colored pieces on it. You can't really tell. It seems like a board game of some kind. There's also another larger table with 2 chairs over it. One chair is pulled out and there's a small plate that has a half-eaten sandwich on it. But sitting in front of that table and holding a book is, well, it's a kid. He's dark-skinned, lanky, and doesn't look like he definitely looks like he eats enough, but definitely isn't someone who eats well all the time. Can't tell if that's by choice or not. His demeanor is glower, and his look is always one of sort of somber, focus. He almost doesn't even seem to acknowledge you all that much, except for seeing that the door opens, looking up at you all, and just, and what's this?
We've been sent to collect you.
By my mother?
No.
By the doctor, then.
No.
You'll see the boy look at you really hard, and just, I don't understand.
You will. And unless you want to be in the hands of the doctor directly and her little schemes, I'd recommend coming with us.
And it's right after you say that you'll all get that, sort of you'll all get a squad ping come on, sort of pinging through Doc to the rest of you. It's from Shoddy. It just, hey, so was I supposed to pass only good news or also bad news on to you guys?
Roxanne's not reacting. She's just holding a hand out to the kid.
The kid is reaching up for you slowly and taking the hand, but he just said, as you say, we're on a bit of time crunch, he says, cool, I'll speak fast. It's not a vehicle inbound. It's a mech.
Love that.
Come on.
What kind of
some
mech?
fireworks?
And he just, he says, I don't, and then the signal gets garbled and goes out. And the kid stands up and just, where are we going?
Somewhere far, somewhere safe. Wanna watch some fireworks?
A place without guards. And Arthur's just gonna huck this kid over their shoulder.
Hey, what the, I can walk, and yeah.
Love. I think
yeah.
Okay, at this point
We haul ass out. Run.
with this. Okay, so you said we parked far enough away for them to do their thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. At that point, when he says if there's only good news or bad news, I'm gonna be I'm signaling Mika to get into a car, and I'm just gonna take a van and drive it over so we can just
Yeah, no problem. So you all
Gonzalez out of there.
You all able to load up into a van. The guards see you all running out, and the captain walks over to be like, excuse me, is there a problem? Excuse me, is there? And then you all slam your doors in the van and start peeling off. As he goes,
He's having a medical emergency. Goodbye.
They all start pulling guns up as if they'd like to stop you all.
I do want to say there is enough time for Mika to plant the bomb.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, we assumed that was happening while Roxanne was talking to the kid. Mika was running around going, okay, bomb here? No, what about here?
Red wire, blue wire. Red wire, blue wire.
Watch that scene in the anime.
Wait, Mika, what are you saying?
Like,
Mika definitely knows which wire it is.
Oh no, I meant the color, just for like vibe. Like, I feel like Mika would be deciding about what color she wants to use for the bomb for like flavor, not like which one do I use. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
That's
like aesthetics.
So you find a good spot, sort of under the fireplace. It's a very, very rough chimney. The place kind of has like carved into its southern wall. You're able to dig the bomb down in there. You're like, okay, that's enough coverage. You all slam your doors, and just as those guards begin to raise their guns and think like, maybe we should be shooting at those people to stop them from getting away, Mika, with your ineffable timing, figure it's probably good enough time as any, and with the press of a remote trigger, solid condensed plasma fission explosion goes off.
What kind of bomb did I give her?
I mean, hey, listen, this is the far future, baby. Shit happens. Shit gets wild around here. We got hyperfusion around here, okay? Shit gets crazy.
It's a Mika bomb.
The bomb blows, and it takes with it. Hey, I got explosions, don't I? Kaboom! Close enough. That was a very good one. Anyway, point is, so with a rattling explosion that literally shakes the car a little bit as you all peel away as you're all peeling away. You don't hear any fire come out from the guards, so you wager they are probably vaporized. The kid who has scrambled out to the back window and just, my house.
Would you like a nutrient bar? They're not the greatest, but they're better than nothing.
You'll see him turn and try to, like, clearly give you some very backshotted teenage answer that's like, what the fuck are you talking about, or something to that effect. He's not able to give you that answer solidly as something slammed down next to you.
Keep your head down, kiddo. Yeah. Just push his head down.
He just
Have
slowly...
I seen this something before?
Oh, that's the funny thing. As you finally start to sort of turn and get a good look at it. I got some good news for this. Hold on, here we go.
Yeah.
So,
please tell me that.
No, you don't think you've seen this before. It's not a Type 22. It's definitely not which is Type 22. It's a mech, humanoid, but where the Type 22 has always been a boxy, bulky, angular thing, this is live. It's tall and statuesque. Its legs are almost like fine, sort of stiletto points. Its hands extend down into sharp, meter-long claws. Its head, blank and featureless. And on its rear is a pair of brilliant red arches, and as the mech flares, red or purple lightning crackles down the claws. A halo forms around the head, and in those red arches, brilliant purple pinion flare like wings. And a voice over a loudspeaker wails. And where exactly do you think you're going?
Is it a son or a witch?
It's witch.
Politely step on it.
I don't think. Oh, speed.
Politely.
No, like the band.
I
drive
will.
past it.
I'm gonna just respond to Witch as posh as possible. Careful, love. You might kill your only son. I know you're not used to I know you're no stranger to killing children, but I feel you have a line against your own.
The mech will turn its head. You didn't.
Unless you want me to give him back to Asano. but the building he was just in kind of exploded. So, how about you cool your jets, quite literally, and we talk like civilized folks? I know that concept is unfamiliar to you, but civilized folks don't blow up buildings.
The mech will turn, scraping its leg against the ground, and flinch the claw around once. Kill the engine, and come out with your hands up. Anything I see in a hand, I tear that hand off.
Yeah, I'm not getting out of this vehicle until you come back down to our level.
The mech doesn't move. It center chest piece slides open, and you notice this thing is a lot more slender than a Type 22. In fact, which kind of has to kind of tuck into the head unit almost a little bit of this. She unfolds herself and drops down. You think I need this to kill you?
I know you don't.
Come on then. Civilized folk. Yes?
Absolutely. I'm going to kill the engine and just look at my team. So if anything happens to me, leave. And I'm looking at the little 12-year-old or 15-year-old kid. It's like, you. I don't know your name. What is your name? Yes, you. Quickly now.
And you can see him like, and then you'll hear which chime up? Jason. After his father.
Do I know any Jasons who were in the army as a commander or anything like that? I want to know any Jasons. I want any Jason. Any Jason.
Any Jason on record.
I will get you. Hold on to that thought.
Right, Jason. These lovely ladies are gonna take it. They're gonna watch out for you. You behave for them, all right? I'm gonna go talk to your mother.
He just sits down and just, I don't know what's happening today.
Good, lovely. I'm gonna get out of the car and go talk to Witch.
It's a question.
Uh-huh.
What was Jason's reaction to hearing his mom?
He is confused, panic-stricken, and afraid. Not of his mom, just he doesn't
Of the
understand
situation.
what's happening. Like,
Okay. He's like 15 or like 12?
15-ish, maybe 14.
15-ish,
Hard to tell.
okay.
Real quick, just to know.
See your mom often?
He just- sorry, go ahead, please.
I'm sorry. I was just saying, Ketty's just gonna sort of be next to him and try to get off this sort of calm attitude in the midst of all of this chaos and hold a hand out in case he needs to hold somebody's hand through this.
He will look at you and take the hand, and then look over at Roxanne and just, not in a while.
She must care about you a whole lot.
I know she's done really bad things to keep me safe. I don't know if that makes her good or bad or makes me worth it, but I've heard her talk about it sometimes. In her sleep.
I think that just makes her your mother.
And what does that make all of you?
We'll find out, won't we?
And he just kind of clutches Kenny's hand a bit tighter and moves closer to her.
Sit tight.
I'm assuming you're heading out, Roxanne?
Yeah, I'll walk out with Doc. I'm gonna make her blood boil, baby. We're gonna make this bitch so mad.
So, you two step
Can I
out.
take some hair from his head though? I'm just
You can easily take a quick swipe.
Loki,
with a
just
small
snip.
knife.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little clap. His hair is
Okay.
mostly black, save for a small little crop of white in the front, which looks kind of
Yeah. The white stuff.
So, you both step out. Witch's mech descends a little bit lower onto its knees and lets her sort of fully step onto the ground. And she starts to walk forward. Impressed isn't the word. This is something else.
I brought you something. Just let the hairs wisp out of her hand. She holds them up.
She looks at you and like takes it. As she brings her hand up, you can see that at this point, her whole arm is near blackened at this point. Over not just the veins anymore, but almost the skin under her arm is growing black and necrotic to a degree.
Gross.
Such a poor design.
She says, victory does not need efficiency. It just needs power.
And that's what
Then-
we would like to talk to you about.
Mm-hmm.
So you come to my home, kidnap my child, to talk.
Actually, he came with us quite willingly, to be honest.
And you're from here, love. Really?
We don't all choose our birthplaces, do we?
No judgment. Just very curious how
No, well-
something so refinedly ruthless could come from such a humble beginning.
The thing about humble beginnings is they expose you. Like a sore nerve. Like skin flensed open. You get the grit and dirt of the world in you early. It hurts. It breaks you. But it shows you what you have to be to survive. Isn't that right, Roxanne?
Perhaps. And now we need some grit and dirt and power of our own.
And you
Yeah,
intend to get that
lovely
from me.
little mech you've got there.
A parting gift from the good doctor before her untimely passing. Fine work, by the way. Clean shot.
We both know that she's not done yet.
Good doctor. Right. Well, I have a nice proposal for you,
Hmm.
if you're willing.
Hmm.
Well, you see, you've got such a new toy. It's such a fancy new toy that, and my squad seems to be without. How about I'm proposing a trade, love.
He smiles. Oh, that's adorable. All this for a new piece of hardware.
Well, hardware's really all that I've got now that you've murdered my family now, isn't it?
Well, I suppose before I follow on that inquiry, I have one of my own. What happens if I say no?
Well, I will leave that up to Roxanne now, won't I?
He tilts her head over.
We are without a commander, and I'm not one to be in charge.
So what then? Do you make Jason one more notch on your road towards success? If I say no?
I'll send it back to you. Bit by bit. But say yes. Give us what we need and you can be gone. You and him both somewhere far, far away from all of this.
I know when else can use him.
Ah, and there it is. Pity. Remorse?
Oh.
Maybe?
No, don't mistake this for pity. Well,
Or
at least not
remorse.
pity for you.
It's never been for me. For him. For the innocent. The people who don't deserve to die in a war like this. Right?
Everyone dies.
I'll go further
I've-
than that.
Hmm.
Everyone dies for a reason. Some for their own, if they're lucky. Some die for other people's reasons. I won't grandstand on you. I don't think that's a bad thing. She looks over at you, Doc. You know I don't think that's a bad thing. My question, then, becomes why? Not for you. Throws that over at Doc. I understand why you do. You've got vengeance on your side. A vendetta of reason. A face you see when you can't close your eyes at night. A voice you call out to in your nightmares. I understand that. But you? Why you? Why this bloody path of ours? It can't be for him. You just met him.
Come a little closer and
Wow.
I'll tell you.
While Witch is focused on Roxanne, can I try hacking into her mech?
If your goal is to gain sort of like access to it, you recognize that it's not linked to the network of like any of the other Geist systems things and the way that things are. It's so your system allows you access to any of Asano's sort of existing work. You aren't capable of controlling Mark IIIs, and this effectively runs on the Mark III firmware. You could probably get the knowledge of how to do it, like I mentioned last episode, but that would still probably take some time. You could probably gain some specs on it, know what it is, how it works, what it does, and shit like that. Gaining control of it, like gaining access to it, that might be more time than you currently have with right now. Maybe, possible. Fuck, I blanked on what I was about to say. Shit. Nope, it's fine. I lost it. It's not important. Don't worry about it. Sorry. No, I got it back. In response to your come closer and find out, she takes a step.
I'll walk up.
Go on, then. Enlighten me.
I almost don't want to do this where other people, other cats can hear. Ooh, headphones off. Woo!
Oh, damn! I didn't know that. I didn't know this was gonna happen. Okay. Go on.
I don't care about you or your child, to be honest. But I'll give you this. Something's changing. And I've killed lots of people. People I don't care about. They don't matter. But I hate this system that we've been brought up into, and I hate the people who put us in this position more than anything else right now. This is a way forward where I don't have to be beholden to them. I don't feel pity for you or your child. I'm simply trying to offer you whatever it takes for you to agree to this deal. Live your life in obscurity while I tear down this system that would turn your child and other people like us into weapons, into playthings.
You can't like Asano any more than I do.
He steps closer to you, actually.
Mm-hmm.
You get it, finally. Why I think you're just like me? A wolf?
Perhaps.
There are so many bodies behind I don't sleep. I see their names in my nightmares. I scratch their souls into my skin. It is not this power that kills me. It is their memory. Everything that I am dies more and more every day. And why? So that little one has just the barest bit of chance at a future that doesn't involve oppression. I die so he can live without shackles. I collar myself for his freedom. If you are a wolf, the way I am, then tell me what you're willing to give to see this world made free.
The other people in my squad, they're not like you and I. Where once they were stepping stones. They're now pillars that hold me up, and I hate that as much as I need it. My hands already run red. They're stained with so much blood, but theirs don't have to be. Even if it means they hate me or think I'm some sort of villain, which I am. It needs to be done. I already
Whether for
laid the
master?
groundwork.
Whether for master or for comrade, a wolf bloodies its jaws so others don't have to. It's about time you understood that.
The groundwork's already been laid for me to do what I need to do. And when the time comes, to be cut loose without remorse.
She says, well, then a parting word before we re-invite your friend to the conversation. You've done so much to get where you are. Killed so very many parts of you. I know, because I've done the same. Nothing will get those parts of me back. Nothing will undo the wrong. But what can be done is, as long as I breathe, some kind of right. The world has enough wolves, Roxanne. It's up to you whether you still have to be one.
Think it's too late to change coats. Better
That's
to
your
die
choice
what
to
I
make.
am.
And she steps back. And give me 1 second. She steps back, and the sort of, as she steps back and, gives you some more space, and you rejoin the squad, he will out loud say, fair enough. Though I do wonder what the prince has to say about that.
Oh, I don't know. What do you think, Commander?
I would have also, to clarify, would have turned off my mic for that entire conversation. that bitch would have been off.
No, that's fair. He actually does respond to all of you.
Put it out loud too, so maybe Witch can hear.
He says, I think war makes monsters of everyone. I will not judge you for the choices you make or the actions you have taken, what I will do is allow you the opportunity to do what my squad says, which is find something better than all of this. Whether they let you walk away is their choice. I'm not their commander anymore. But what I will say is that if anyone knows the value of repentance, it should be Seraph Lance. And even though he is very clearly saying that in a way that can be responded to Witch's question, it's pretty clear he's not really talking at all. Not saying he's dad talking you all, but he's kind of maybe dad talking y'all like a little bit, like 5 to 10% dad talking. Any case, that aside, yeah,
Daddy?
that's all he says, and then deliberately remutes himself again.
How do I do this? As they're having their private conversation, we were having our own private conversation in chat, where the idea came up that someone could, just hop into the mech while Witch is talking. No one in particular, just a random thought. How likely, would our characters know that are we compatible with this mech?
So, would any of you know immediately? No. However, Doc, you were asking if you could try to hack it, and I mentioned that you could get specs on this thing if you wanted to. Is that a thing you would have done?
Yes, that's absolutely a thing I would have done. I got a 4.
Then you would know that incompatibility isn't necessarily the problem. You don't think any of you would survive more than 10 minutes in that cockpit. You don't know how Witch has been surviving it this long. It's literally a wonder of science. Possibly even beyond it.
Right, yeah, she's been given her life force to power this machine, and I gently let Mika know in a text, not over comms, just in a text. It's like, yeah, love, if you ever want to see Lily again, you will not get in that mech.
It sends text, hey, maybe don't. In either case...
I was going to say that's not going to stop me from trying, but Lily will stop me from trying, so that's fair.
That's speaking of, Doc, as you're noticing that you guys are in a town that, you just left, and it might be hard given that you just blew up the shelter, but if you could loop back around some point in the next hour or two back to that town and pick up some basic supplies with some bartering, you could probably get what you need to perform that, to fix up the contact pad to let Mika contact Lily a little bit early the way you wanted to. If you sort of hang around this area for a day. Obviously, might be want to lay low given the explosion just went off, but you're pretty certain if you hang around here for a little bit longer, you could probably make that happen. So hold that and be aware of that. The other thing that we should, is a bit more relevant is as you are all clearly looking at Witch's mech and thinking should one of us steal this thing? Maybe, I don't know. She steps back and just, well, I hate to say, but mechs are unfortunately a thing that I can't grow, so I can't offer you any right now. I can, however, offer to do what I can to keep the trolls off your back for a while. Call it a favor for returning my son to my safe hands.
Look at Doc.
About. Since you've been such a good dog for Dr. Asano, I am muting myself before I speak, so the people in the car can't hear me. Roxanne can hear me.
Okay.
No, Roxanne can hear me. The people in the car can't hear me. Since you've been such a good dog for Dr. Asano, how about you come when we call?
says, "You misunderstand how this works."
You misunderstand that I don't care.
No, you should care about this. The reason
Stop.
why all I'm offering is patrols is because that's all I can offer. And her face drops. This is not the confident, smirky, like flirty witch you're all used to talking to. This is just sadness, dejection, maybe even. I claim that I wear a collar, and I mean that more literally than I say. My system is closer to the Mark III than it is the Mark I. You are right that Asano is not done. When she calls for it, when she calls for me, I will physically not be able to resist. The next time you all see me, no matter what happens, I will be trying to kill you all.
Question.
Go.
Based on all of my research and everything that I've gotten from Dr. Asano, and if Witch lets me look at the mech, like we take a day to look at the mech and do all the things, is there a way that I could cut Pinocchio's strings?
You are asking to remove Witch's Sky system, something that's, as far as we know, physically impossible.
Not remove her Geist system, remove Asano's control on only this Geist system, only this system.
I am aware of what you're asking for, and here's what I'll say, because I don't like saying no to my clients. It's not that it's impossible. It's doable. You don't know if it's doable without crippling her, is the one thing. You also don't know if even... Well, one, you don't know if survivability is even a thing you can do here. Like, you're effectively asking to remove a route function that out of a system that you really haven't had the time to fully break down and make sense of. You can take that time to do it, definitely. If you want this to go the most safely, you don't need a day, you need a month. And you don't have a month. However, and this is the big however, if Witch was to say, come with you all, you could theoretically spend the time working on her system and her mech, maybe see what you could do. The trouble is, if you say, don't find a solution to that fast enough, and I don't know, a certain someone decides to pull on those Pinocchio strings.
She'll kill us and in close contact with all of us.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I counter to all of the lovely points that you just made. I don't care about her survivability. I don't really care about Witch. If she dies, that's whatever.
Yeah, but you know who does care about her survivability? Her.
Witch. Yeah.
She
Yeah.
might not let
Do I see Doc's expressions real quick?
That's fine. What I'm trying to do is offer Witch a way out. I'm not making any promises. I am what I'm presenting is that just as we freed your son from the grasp of Asano, I can try and help your murderous bitch ass.
I mean, you could ask.
Yeah.
She looks at you, and this is actually a pretty good point for us to probably get out of here on, because we're getting close to our end time here. She looks at you, and again, smiles. No thank you. I've made this very clear, but there's a long, bloody toll behind everything I'm done. Absolution isn't a thing I deserve just yet. Again, I'll do what I can to keep heat off your back. If what you're offering me is a way out, then I have to say no. People like me don't deserve ways out.
Oh, so it's a self-pity kick. All right, then. Yeah, then I'll take what you offer. Oh, yeah, I'm putting this back on the comms to be open with everybody.
You wouldn't happen to know of any locations Asano might have where other mechs might be stored, would you?
She says.
Or of any other mechs that look like you.
And she says, Well, there aren't a whole lot of things like me out there, and if there's anything like that, I don't think she'd be the one to tell me. But, if I had to hazard a guess, there's a black site I'm aware of not too far outside of Redsham, where I believe, if there's anything that's still worth stockpiling, it's probably there. I also hear that's where the next invasion is being launched, and I imagine that's where my erstwhile Valkyries are headed home.
Yeah.
Intending to save the world, are we?
Take
Just
your
our
son and
corner
get
of it.
out of here.
Yeah.
Um,
I think at this point, Katie's gonna. Her son.
She takes the kid and again offers you a very kind nod and a smile. Takes Jason, looks at him, kind of pets him, lets him know things are okay. Looks back and just a parting note, loves. If you intend to bear the world's sins on your shoulders, bear in mind that there are those of us who understand that sin is one of the most human things we can bear. If you intend to make the world a better place, you will have to be something better than human.
We're not human. We're ghosts.
She turns and quietly walks away. And I believe with that, we have found a wonderful spot for us to draw tonight's episode to a close. Thanks, and we'll catch you all in exactly 2 weeks. Some more Stardust Ghosts. Good night.
Bye bye.